Hello, hello. Welcome to a new episode of Ala Sports. Hello, good day. Kiaroa. By that last greeting, you know already where I'm going with this episode. This is episode 63 of Ala Sports, special edition. We will be covering the Women's World Cup 2023. It will be taking stage in New Zealand and Australia. Yes, it is a co-host competition. So we would be talking today about the World Cup team guide. So we will be covering the teams, like a brief description of every team's motive, key players, and how did they get there. Is there a first time for some countries? And also the top teams and the returning teams and teams that have redemption. So like I said, this is episode 63, World Cup Women's Edition 2023, and I'm happy to be here to bring you this team guide today. And like I mentioned, this is gonna be episode 63. You can find this episode on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and YouTube, and we will be going into the introduction with Group A in a few seconds, but I'm gonna give you a brief introduction about the World Cup 2023. As mentioned, this World Cup, Women World Cup, that will be starting this month in July 20th and will end in August 20th. It will be held in New Zealand and Australia, and this is gonna be the 9th edition of the World Cup. But there's a few different aspects and different things that has been added by FIFA, and I'm gonna mention that right now to you. There's gonna be 32 teams. It's the first time there's gonna be 32 teams in the Women's World Cup. It was voted by FIFA Council, approved on July 31st, 2019 by Gianni Infantino, the FIFA's president, who approved this. And he gave his purpose. The purpose is to advance the growth of Women's World Cup and women's soccer in general. Adding more teams in the World Cup, it's also adding more infrastructures in their countries. Adding more teams is also adding the growth of football in their countries as well, which would advance not only like a World Cup competition but many other World Cup. And he said that it's very important that they did that so they can advance this aspect of the game for the women, also for the World Cup and many other competition. So that's his purpose. And we're gonna see 32 teams this time, and it's gonna be very interesting because it's 8 groups, 32 teams, 9 host cities, and 10 stadiums. And like I said, as a co-host, New Zealand and Australia, that would start on July 20th. So it's gonna be very interesting to see because there's many teams that's gonna participate in their first competition, and the first actual game will start July 20th, and that's gonna be between New Zealand and Norway. Yeah, so it's going to be New Zealand and Norway. It's going to be at 3 a.m. Eastern time on July 20th. That's going to be this Thursday coming in. And there's going to be also the beginning of the ceremony. I'm going to talk about that at the end of the podcast. So New Zealand, one of the co-host team, will be the first team to start with against Norway. And in a few minutes, I'm going to start with Group A. I'm going to tell you the teams and just a brief description of every team's motive, the key players, and how did they get there. I'm not going to mention every team's how did they get there. Like, for example, a team like Germany and USA, but different teams, they have like an interesting path for the first time. I mean, I'm going to mention that, but So yeah, we're gonna start with Group A in a few minutes, and I'm gonna let you know every detail about every team in Group A. Group A, this is a group that has four different countries: New Zealand, Norway, Philippines, and Switzerland. And what I mean about four different countries, it's like a four different style, and we're gonna have some history also in that group. I'm gonna start with New Zealand, one of the co-host teams. They automatically qualify because they're a host. However, New Zealand is also has four World Cups and they have not qualified for the second round of the World Cup or even win. So that's going to be a first. It's at home, so they feel very motivated to make history. Coach Jitka Klimkova, he talked to FIFA about the chances, sorry, and mentioned whoever they are up against, New Zealand will be a team that plays to win. So they're not gonna be shy because of history of what happened. They're at home. They're gonna have supporters against them, but they're gonna have more supporters with them because they're home. So that motivation is gonna bring a lot out of the team and see if they can make history. So the last five games they had three loss, one tie, and one win. So he wants to adopt a more attacking play and maintain the ball, as mentioned to FIFA. Um, they are called the Ferns, as it stands for new life, new beginnings, new strength. So this will play an effect with being home, their culture, and as well the history they want to make. Like they want to get far, like in this competition. But they're also humble, but they're ready to play toe to toe with any team. So their first game is gonna be on Thursday, July 20th. They're gonna kick off the World Cup at 3 a.m. Eastern time. One of the key players we have to look in their team is CJ Bott and Ali Riley. This is a Group A's New Zealand. Continuing with Group A, Norway, a different ball game. This is a team that won the World Cup in 1995, and also a team in the last World Cup reached the knockout stage. So they have a lot of experience. So that first game against New Zealand, like New Zealand is gonna be have to be very careful because it's a team that has a lot of experiences. Um, Also their coach, Rice, former Norwegian player as well. Key player like Caroline Graham, a very top player, and Henson, Caroline Graham Henson, she plays for Barcelona. She's returned from a tight injury since October, and she came back March 5th. She's healthy and ready to go and ready to roll. Also, you got to look out to Ada Hebergerg. She plays in Lyon. Player that she's the first to win the Ballon d'Or when they started that edition. So they have quality in their team and they have experience. So they feel like they already are the favorite of the group. So it's going to be very difficult for New Zealand to beat them. Like I said, they have quality. They're very, very skillful and they have that mentality and they're ready to roll. Third team in Group A, Philippines. First ever Women World Cup, very first for the women national team. It's their very first. We're gonna see that many times in this podcast. But every time I say this, I want you guys to be happy. First, it's a first for Philippines. So clap. Um, so after reaching the semifinal of the Asian Cup, that's when Alan Stachik, the coach of the team, it's the first cup. She stated also, I mean, sorry, he stated that they're coming to win. Like they're not here to because it's a first and everything. They're just coming in to win. So basically, they're saying no way to Zealand. Like we're not gonna back down and pose like a defensive team and sit back and wait. They're coming to win. So they're ready to play toe to toe as well. They have played many matches, and he also stated that he plays so many matches that it's a positive in terms of the chemistry. After being sacked by Australia, it is kind of a gift for the Philippines team that they found Alan Stachik. He's a very quality coach, so it changed a lot to them. It changed a lot for them. So a key player that we have to watch is Serena Bolden. She's a very talented for the team, and she's very important for the team. So a first competition they won is the women's national football team that they won. They reached the Asian Cup semifinal. So they're a team that's coming there and then they want to win. And the final team in Group A is Switzerland. This is their second participation at the World Cup. The team is led by Inka Griggs, who have yet win a game since she took over. So she's really in a hot seat. So she's not really hasn't really registered a win. So it's gonna be interesting to see a coach coming into the World Cup with no win and looking for a win in a competition like this with teams like Switzerland, I mean, like teams like Norway, Philippines with their first participation that are Hungary and as well New Zealand at home. So what she wants is a straightforward, intense, and in training. Uh, they held a public training on June 29th before they headed to New Zealand. They arrived in July 11th. So that public training is to have the participation of the fans. It's gonna put them in the right mindset to get there and get the job done. Key players Ramona Batchman, a famous player in Paris Saint Germain, Leah Walty, who was injured, who's back. So those are the key players that you have to look out for New Zealand. There's also Alicia who plays for West Ham. So those are key players you got to watch for the World Cup for not New Zealand, Switzerland. That can be a difference maker for that team, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they transition in that World Cup and get a W. Also, maybe get to the knockout stage. Now we're jumping to Group B. First team is the other co-host, Australia. And you might know her. Some of you might not know her. Sam Kerr. She's been third best in Ballon d'Or finish in 2022. Famous quality top player for Chelsea. And you might know, if you play FIFA, you definitely saw her in the covers and you Ultimate Team. You know her. You know her. And she's gonna let you guys know also in the World Cup because they're not coming here to just participate. Oh, it's home, so like no. They're coming to take it all. It's a co-host in the tournament, in form before the tournament as well. Squad is full of talent. Many Premier League players plays in that team. In the last 5 games, they won 4 games and just lost one. They're the Cup of Nations winners as well. Their coach Tony Gift-Stapson. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it a little bit wrong. I've tried my best. I even went to YouTube, but it's very tough. He wants to settle for 4-2-3-1. And I'm gonna say it one more time because I felt bad. Tony Gustafsson. I think that did a better job right now. He's right. He's relying on the counter attack because he feels like his team is at his best in the counter. That's their strength. Their name, the Matildas. That nickname is from the song from Waltzing Matilda that was ahead of the 1995 World Cup before. They wanted something that represent them, and that's what represented them. And then they kept this, and then this is their nickname. I want to wish them good luck because it's the co-host. I always like to see host teams do very well in the World Cup because I feel like it's very important for them as well. Home so the fans are here. They want to be satisfied. Like, so I want to wish them well. Australia and New Zealand, those two teams that are hosting the World Cup. Good luck to you guys. Second team in Group B, Republic of Ireland. After 1-0 playoff victory against Scotland, they reached their first ever World Cup. So it's another first ever World Cup. Clap, clap. I want to hear higher than that. But every time, I'm telling you, every time it's a first for a team, I want to hear you guys clap. even though I can't really hear because it's not live. It's not a live Instagram or and Twitter space. But I'm just imagining you guys being very excited for Republic of Ireland for their first participation. They're more a defensive minded team. Coach Vera Paul, she mentioned that she values winning. So she's gonna adopt a low block. So if you're gonna be a fan who's gonna watch Republic of Ireland, just know you're gonna see a low block team. They're very, very not gonna let too many spaces for the attacking opposition. So we've seen that a lot in modern football with low blocks. We've seen that with coaches like Mourinho, who really wants to win at all costs. So if that's what works for Republic of Ireland, you gotta adopt it. So that's what she's gonna adopt: a very low block, very defensive minded, and gamble on the counter. Um, on the new paper column by a former Republic international, um, that's what she mentioned. So a key player to watch is Katie Maccabi. She's a very talented. So you have to, if you're watching Republic of Ireland, this is a player that you have to watch. Third team of this Group B, Nigeria, who has qualified for the World Cup edition and has been described as arriving with no identity for the first time, because it's a team that usually comes in the World Cup for the women's and have their identity. They're very tough to beat, but for this time they're describing this team coming into this World Cup for that with no really identity. However, they're not gonna back down. No identity doesn't mean that they're not gonna come in and make a difference. Coach Randy Waldrum, she said they're not afraid to go toe to toe. When you have a player like Assistat, sorry, you know you can make a difference in the attacking part. So they described this team as he described this team in this group as a group of death. So it's going to be very difficult. But the positive that they can hold is that they're ready to go toe to toe with teams, and they believe that they can make a difference and reach the knockout stage. So be on the lookout. Like I said, key player that you have to look is the Barcelona player Assisat Oshoala. So be on the lookout for her. She's a very talented, and if you after the World Cup, if you want to continue watching her, she plays for Barcelona. Last team of the group is Canada, Olympic winner in 2021 in Japan. Coach Bev Prisman said she believed that they want to climb the biggest mountain, which is the World Cup. Like, I believe they made the finals. Uh, is it the finals? I'm gonna let you guys know in a few seconds. But this is the biggest mountain they want to climb. Like, it's a team like we've seen with St. Clair. They're really talented. They know what they want to do. But they have not won this competition, so they want to win it. After winning the Olympics in 2021 in Japan, they want to win this one. This is the biggest stage. Everyone is looking, so they want to make the difference. It's most likely going to be St. Clair's last World Cup. She's 40 years old. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to do it at 44, but she's going to give it all. So they want to build through that momentum that they won at the Olympic to bring it to the World Cup. So it's gonna be interesting to see them at the World Cup and be on the lookout. They're not considered as a favorites, unfortunately, but like even if you're not considered as a favorite, it doesn't mean that you can't win it. So we're gonna transition to Group C. This group has a lot of quality as well in it. We're gonna start with Spain, first team. Uh, like they mentioned, we're gonna talk about the United States as well. Spain is one of the team they're saying that is also a favorite for winning the World Cup edition, the ninth edition. They have their Ballon d'Or back, who was hurt, Alexia Putellas. She came back from a ligament ACL injury for Barcelona. She's a superstar Barcelona player. Um, so a very quality player as well. Like, oof. Um, Spain is gonna look much better with her in the team, as they prepare to take their chances to qualify from the group. Um, they mentioned that they are the favorite of the group. They arrive in New Zealand in July 7th. They can also count on Jenny Elmoso, who plays in Mexico. The coach Jorge Vilda, who had a lot of issues in the beginning of last year, where a lot of team backed down from the team with the disputes and everything like this, but they gathered three of those players back, and they're much in a better space mentally for the World Cup, and they're heading in their second World Cup. They want to make a difference. They were very not satisfied with what happened in the Euros, but they're coming to this World Cup to make a difference. They have their Ballon d'Or back, so be on the lookout for Spain. They're very talented. And we're going to the second team, Costa Rica. Las Ticas they're qualifying after finishing fourth in the CONCACAF Championship in Mexico, and also just attending the second World Cup. They of seeing this World Cup as a like okay, they came to the first World Cup, it didn't go as they wanted to. They're going to the second with more experience, so they're coming to this World Cup with the key player Raquel Rodriguez. Coach Amelia Valverde values this team. He said that he values the team discipline and respect. I feel like when you have those two, it's already like a very advantage for you. When you value discipline and respect, you can apply your football with that, and that's gonna make you much better. They're coming to the biggest competition with a lot of hope. And like I said, Raquel Rodriguez is the key player that you have to look out. She's very talented. And Costa Rica is coming to this competition with a lot of motivation, and they're ready to make a difference and reach the knockout stage. So be on the lookout for Costa Rica. And we're going for another first World Cup participation. So I want to hear the clap. Yes, we're talking about Zambia. It's their first World Cup participation. They reached the semifinal of the Women's African Cup, which sealed their first World Cup edition for the 2023 World Cup that's going to be held in New Zealand, Australia. The Cooper Queens are not only satisfied by making the history. I like when teams like, okay, this is history. This is behind us. We're in the World Cup now. We have a different history we want to make. We want to play and reach the knockout stage. So that is a mentality for the Cooper Queens. For both in men and women, they're participating for the first time, so they're making history for the men's as well in such tournament. And they also want to make noise despite many obstacles they face in their countries and politically. And the coach said in FIFA, we're talking about Coach Bruce Mop. He said we can still make it to the next round. So they're that history they made reaching the World Cup, they're past that. So they're focused on a knockout stage. So they're gonna take it game by game, but they're ready to make it and get it done. Key players that you want to watch for Zambia when you're watching Zambia, it's her name is Barbara Benda. If you're looking for key players, that's one of them. So let's give it again for Zambia for the first participation in a World Cup. Now I want to say something else. So before I get to the last team, actually let me do this before I get to Group D. Let's get it to Japan. 2011 and 2015 best years. Japan won their World Cups in 2011, and so they're already used to the big scenes already. They're not new to that in the World Cup. And Japan, if you ever seen Japan in the men and women, it's a team that have so much structure, discipline. And I like that for the Asians teams. They have so much discipline when they play. They're very focused, disciplined. They love their countries, and then they're gonna represent it. So, like I said, they're not new to the stage. They won on it already. So it's not they come in and just be like, oh, it's a first. No. So they struggled in the past competition in the Olympics at home. A very first quarterfinal exit. So they were left very disappointed. So they will go into this competition in order to regain more strength and regain their title as World Cup winners. So if you want to watch, like I said, a key player in Japan when you're watching that team, her name is Mina Tanaka. Mina Tanaka. If you want to watch a key player for Japan, this is the player you have to watch. And before I get to Group D, I wanted to say, like, this is also how important it is for adding 32 teams. You see how many teams so far at their first. It's so beautiful because like it's your first. A lot of players, a lot of fans are gonna watch you, and they're gonna see you at the biggest. It's gonna create so much um happiness. A lot of other young women or ladies at a very young age, they're gonna be influenced and wants to play the game, which will add more competition in their team, and the level and strength in that country is gonna add on more people playing, maybe more academies, which is gonna partake in the growth in that aspect for the women's, like in soccer in general. It's not only for women, it's also for men, like for countries like in that don't participate a lot. When you do that, when you add more teams, I feel like it helps a lot. I know like a lot of people don't like too many teams in the competition, but I feel like it's a very good thing for those countries who has a view on them, and people can come and invest, adding academies and bringing more talent in. And like there's talent, but if you don't really hold the talent very young and help them grow this talent to maybe move to teams in Europe and stuff like that, and create more ambition for others, and that's what is gonna create growth for me. That's my opinion. But in a few seconds, we're gonna start Group D. And we're starting for Group D. We're gonna go with England. It's the team who won the Euro 22. I know if for everyone that watched it, and you saw that famous last goal with her like being very like happy and running around. So they won the Euro 22 and they're gonna travel to New Zealand and Australia. With the last World Cup, they reached the semifinals. So it's a team that they have game. The English team, they have game, all right? So they're gonna come to this competition with momentum. They won the Euro 2022. They have talent and they want to win. They're also a favorite. Manager Serena Wigsman, who described as a good coach in game-changing tactics. This is also how they won against Germany in 2022. They changed their tactics at the end of the game, which helped them win. So they're described as the second favorite behind USA. Key players to watch is Carol Walsh. The Lioness, they will go to the World Cup without three of their main players. So Beth Mead is not gonna be participating. Leah Williamson is not gonna be participating, and Frank Kirby. So be on the lookout for Carol Walsh if you're gonna watch England and you want to watch a talented player. Carol Walsh is a player that you want to see. And the second team that's gonna participate in Group D, that's gonna join the English team, the Lionesses, and that team is gonna be Haiti. All right, and I want to hear it again. It's a first again, so I want to hear it. More claps. I can't really hear you guys. I know you guys are probably thinking like, why is he bringing so much energy to that team? So yeah, it is. I'm from Haiti, so I'm very super excited to see them in their first World Cup, and I'm gonna try to describe a little bit their path. So they made history, participating in their first World Cup by beating Chile 2-1 in February during the playoff tournament in New Zealand. Nicolas Delpine, was able to reach the stage by finishing third in Group A, which qualified them to go to the that playoff stage. And Group A, when they finished third, is I'm referring to the CONCACAF Championship, which allowed them to go to that tournament in New Zealand, the playoff tournament. And then again, this is again why I'm talking about adding more teams is very good for certain teams to reach their first World Cup. After beating Senegal in the semifinal 4-0, They beat Chile 2-1, and they reached their first ever World Cup. So it's a very 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 happy stage for Haiti. They're gonna start their World Cup with a tough opponent. It's gonna be England. So one star player that you want to watch in this World Cup. She's gonna play because she hasn't played yet, but she signed a contract in January of this year with their former president Olas. I'm talking about Melchi Dumone. So she's gonna be playing with Lyon. If you know, Lyon is one of the best teams for women. So she's gonna play there, and then she's gonna play with a famous player like Winal. So be on the lookout for her. She's a star. She will be at the World Cup, and also that trio that we're gonna see a lot is gonna be Melchi, Nerilia Mondezil, and also Borgela. So those are the three names. If you're not familiar with Haiti, those are the three names, and everyone is with participant is very talented as well. I want to say that because that accomplishment was a team a team a team spirit. So, like I said, they're gonna face their first test against England, a former Euro 2022. It is a good thing also for them because they're gonna be facing different level of teams. So it's gonna develop a different level for their mentality, the way they're gonna approach the game, when they're gonna be suffering, how they're gonna manage as a group, when they have to attack and break through that defense, how they're gonna do it. That's just gonna help them, and I'm very excited to see that game. Third team of the group, and I'm referring to Group D. It's gonna be China. China first female coach Shui Xingtia. So they won the Asian 2020 Cup. So they haven't really been in the group in a big stage since the 1999 final. And I'm not sure if you remember the famous penalty for USA, which saw them losing that final, but they have not moved past the quarterfinals since then. They're coming back. It's like a team that is bringing back the redemption. They wanna make noise, and then they know they're gonna participate in a tough group, but they're not scared to go toe to toe with any teams. So they're not scared. So it's gonna be tough for anyone. Like they're gonna face England, they're not scared as well. So they're gonna bring a lot of competition, a lot of mentality, intensity. So it's discipline. Like I said about the Asian teams, they have a lot of discipline. So they're gonna make it difficult for their opponents. So let's hear it for China. And we're going to the last team for that group is Denmark, and like I said, that group I'm referring to Group D. Denmark. They're gonna be coming with their star player Penny Harder. The last World Cup, the for coach, it's gonna be the last World Cup for Coach Lars Sondergaard. Um, he's a defensively regrouped coach, but he's not afraid to keep possession when he has to keep possession and play through the midfield. Depending of the aspect of the game, depending on what the game is asking for him, he's not afraid to do that. And when it's needed, and then he has to maintain that, he will do so. They haven't been in a World Cup since 2007. Their goal is to reach the knockout stage. So Denmark is gonna come in, and they know that's gonna be a tough group that has England, Haiti, and China. But they know what they're about. They know they have quality. They know that this is a team they used to be talking about a lot. So they want to come back, and it's very dangerous. It's the last year of the coach, so you know they're gonna be playing for the coach. So you have to be very, very, very for the other team. Be very attentive about that team. Bring a lot of attention because they're gonna come in and get the work done. So we're gonna see a very competitive Group D, and see how it plays. And we're going to Group E. We're gonna start with the American team USA, the favorite of the World Cup. 4 World Cups, the most World Cups in history for the Women's World Cup. So many World Cups in words. So, but we're talking about the favorite of the group. favorite of the World Cups, and also they have won the last two World Cups. So they're looking for do a three-peat. If you watch basketball a lot, so you know about what that three-peat is. Um, Many teams have done it. So in the NBA term, so that's what they're looking to do, a three-peat. So they're not coming to play any games, and they have so many quality in their team. They've been producing so much talent, young players. So um they're the first seed in FIFA as well for the women's FIFA standing. Um, so Coach Andonovsky, he will be happy and delighted with the group, and he has a full of talent. And also something I want to mention is like they normally line up with a 4-3-3. um, it's a dream front three for them where they have Alex Morgan, Sophia Smith, and sometimes Alisa Thompson, which also might add Dennis Rodman into the mix. She scored in the last game. If you don't know who, I said Dennis Rodman. I meant to say Trinity Rodman. I apologize, but she is the daughter of Dennis Rodman. If the audience didn't know, so she might be adding to the mix. I think she's gonna be a super sub. Um, but also being a lookout for Naomi Girma. So there's so many talented for that American team. They're the favorite. They're looking for the three-peat. So is there much to say? Is there much to say, really? So yeah, be on the lookout. And let's hear it again. I want to hear the claps. I want to hear it's Vietnam. First participation. They secured their spot at the Asian Cup in 2022 by beating Taiwan and Thailand. And according to the Guardian, the experienced coach who owned many medals with the team, he stated that it is a good chance for them to learn from good opponents and in order to improve. So they're coming to this competition with being very humble. Like it's their first competition. They're coming like, okay, we're gonna play USA, we're gonna play Netherlands, we're gonna play Portugal. So it's a chance for us to see so many different style of football, European, American football, different talent players, different system. Now they're gonna learn from that to see how they're gonna respond. So for them, um, it's not like they don't have a motivation to get to the knockout stage, but for them, it's really much more about learning from top teams, and they're gonna adopt that in the future to become very to bring more strength, but not saying that they're not gonna come in to win games. They're gonna approach every team that comes in, they're approached to win, but he's just stating that it's a very good opportunity for them to improve their team. And you can only do that by coming to a competition like the World Cup when you're playing top players and top teams and learning also from top coaches. And the key player that you want to watch is um her name is Hon New, and she's a very talented player. If you want to watch Vietnam, this is a talented key player you want to watch. Let's get it for Netherlands. The Orange Lionesses, who were running up in the 2019 World Cup at the last edition, and also won the European Cup in 2017 against Denmark 4-2. Junker, who was an assistant to Van Gaal. So if you watch Van Gaal, you already know what he's gonna do. He's gonna adopt either a 4-3-3 or 5-3-2, a lot of pressing and getting forward. So if you, like I said, if you watch Van Gaal, he was an assistant to Van Gaal, so he's gonna apply the same philosophy. Not saying he's not gonna add his touches, but that's where he learned from. So you want to watch a star player from Netherlands? Check out Jill Road on Instagram as well. They made it to New Zealand a couple days or 4 days ago. So you want to watch a talented player? Check out Jill Road for the Netherlands. And also still in Group E, last team of the group is Portugal. I want to. You know what? Let me ask you guys a question. Did you guys think this would be Portugal's for the Women's World Cup first participation? Well, it is. Clap. Yes, it is Portugal's first appearance, right? I'm very shocked because Portugal usually is a team that's a very a big European team, but it is their first participation. Um, Portugal has had a very long journey to reach that World Cup. They made it by participating in the Interconfederation Cup versus Cameroon when they won 2-1 at extra time. And Jessica Silva, talented forward, believed that they're a talented team who won't back down. So that's like I said, when a team is participating the first time in the World Cup, and they said, I love that because they're bringing the competition. They're not afraid of the moment. So it is their first World Cup. Francisco Neto, the coach, said that it's a team that has a lot of ambition. So you already know what to expect from them. It's not gonna be a team that's coming in and being humble for being there. Like they want more. They want more. So be on the lookout for Portugal and clap again for the first participation. Let's get it. Group F. Ooh, Group F, Group F, Group F. We're gonna start with France. They held the last competition in 2019. They were very disappointed in their early exit at home in the quarterfinals. This is a team that they that was expected to reach the final. They were also a favorite because it's at home, and France is usually a very great team. And also, they are disappointed as well for being knocked out in the semifinal of the Euro 2022 against Germany, who reached the finals and lost against England. So they are they have a new coach, and you know him from his famous speech when he was talking about like to his Saudi Arabian players about Messi, Messi, Messi. Like you want his shirt, like it's with his famous white shirt. He was telling them, and in the famous win against Argentina as well for Saudi Arabia. Yes, it is Elvie Winall. He's gonna be the coach of. He is actually already the coach of um the French national team for the women. Um, He's looking to find a way to win the World Cup. That's it. That's It's a team that's top dog, so they're not just coming in here to participate. They want to win it all. He's looking for speed and energy for his team throughout the game. I think you've seen that with Saudi Arabia, so he's looking for something similar like this. Obviously, with the players, it's gonna be a different system, but he's looking for that fundamentals. They're led by their famous captain Wendy Renal, also play for Lyon. Is going to be a teammate of Melchi. So it's going to be interesting to see the results. They have, like I said, they've been very disappointed about their early exit. Well, not early exit in the semifinal, it's in the Euro, but at home into 2019, that's going to hurt them. And you know what they say about hurt when someone is hurt and they have that recovery, they're dangerous. So being a lookout for France who's going to be dangerous. Jamaica, Jamaica. Listen, shout out to the Reggae Girls, man. They're gonna participate in the second straight World Cup. They participated in 2019, and now they're gonna participate in 2023. The Reggae Girls. It's not easy for a Caribbean team to do so. They did it twice in a row. So you have to get. It's not their first participation, but I want to hear some clap for the Reggae Girls. So I found that very interesting because they're very inspiring because they will participate in their consecutive World Cup. It's a huge boost for the Caribbean teams. But the coach Donaldson said the key weakness is their defense. He has worked throughout that, but he also is gonna gamble on their offense. They have a strong and speedy team. They want to balance it a little bit. Their opening matches against France, it's very going to be difficult. Their current form is in the last 4 games is 3 losses, 1 tie. Key players to watch is Kaja Benny Shaw. She has 56 goals for the Jamaican team. So they reached the World Cup by finishing third in the CONCACAF Women's Championship. So be on the lookout for the Reggae Girls who's making history. Mystery, history. Let's get it. Brazil, Brazil, Brazil. Um, they haven't really won the World Cup yet. Um, they're still looking for their first title. They got very close in 2007, and they reached the final and lost, unfortunately. And the last 2 World Cup, they had early exit in the route 16, and that team is they were very disappointed about that aspect because like when we speak about Brazil, we speak about winning. And however, in 2022, they won the Copa America in Colombia. So that kind of gave him their boost. But they have a different system now. Why? They have a new coach. Well, not really new because he she took over in 2019, but you know her because she was the coach of USA and she also was the coach of Sweden, and she won two Olympics with USA, and so she has a more pragmatic approach with the Brazilian team in order to make sure that they get the best results. And yeah, I've seen a lot of pragmatic coaches in men's soccer. They have to win. If they have to win, they have to win. So that's what she's kind of referring to. If I have to win, I have to win. So she wants to make sure they're solid in the defense and have a smooth um transition to the game to the offense. So it's a different style of Brazilian play, and they have won the Copa America, so it's working. So maybe it's gonna be their first World Cup W, possibly. So we will see. We're not sure, so we'll see. Key players, if you want to watch, nobody's new to Marta. So everybody knows Marta. So not really sure. I need to tell you about her, but you want to see another player, talented player, is Dabinia. She's a talented girl. So and she's also a key player. Last team of the group, and the group I'm referring to is it's oop, group F, sorry, group F, Panama. And another first. I want to hear the clap. It's their first participation of the World Cup. Let's give it up to Panama, making the World Cup in the playoff in the final against Paraguay 1-0. Coach Ignacio Quintana is motivated to play against teams like France, Brazil, because he believes the preparation that they have and they had and they're having will be done much better because they know they're gonna play against quality team. They know they're gonna face France and Brazil, so they're adding into their preparation, and it's gonna make them very competitive. The motivation is through the roof. It's gonna make them better. And key players like to you want to watch is Marta Cox. So she is ready to face the team. You know what? When teams telling you like they're ready to face you, you gotta be on the lookout. So let's give it up to Panama in their first participation. I love that for them. So we're going to Group G. Sweden is the first team we're going to talk about. It's a third place reach in 2019 World Cup in France. Sweden is looking for glory. Sweden is a team that is not new to being a very top team. They are a very solid team. Their closest they got to winning is a 2003 when they lost to Germany. They're not necessarily considered as the favorites, but they love that. According to FIFA, they're considered as the dark horse. So it is a good status for them because it relieves a lot of pressure on them, and like those dark horses, like they're coming through like, hey, okay, I'm not the favorite, so I'm all right. No lights on me. I'm gonna sneak in and kind of like shock you guys. So that's a team that I gotta be on the lookout for. Um, so a key player that you want to watch for them is Stina Blackstenius. She's an Arsenal player, talented. They have arrived in July 11th. They're ready. I was watching an Instagram post where they had like the New Zealand staff had a very good welcome into them. So they're ready. They're ready. So be on the lookout for Sweden. South Africa, second team in Group G. Banyana Banyana, that's how they called. They came fresh from winning the first African Cup of their for their country against Morocco 2-1. Um, they struggled in the first World Cup in 2019, but the team is they said it's they made so much more progress and they're ready mentally and have more experiences for this upcoming World Cup. Coach Ellis is looking for a victory for the first game. So this is the first. This is what he's saying. Like the first game, they have to grab it, and then from there they move. The last two games, they're gonna know how to move about it. But he's very focused on winning that first game, so they're preparing for that. The team faced an issue with in regards of bonuses early on before the World Cup started, but it's considered a resolve. Now they can focus freely on the World Cup. Key players you want to watch is Tembi Kaglana. I'm going to say it one more time. Tembi Kaglana. She's a talented, and you want to watch a team, player, sorry, and for South Africa, she's the one for you. Third team, Italy. Italy reached the quarterfinals twice. It is looking for bounce back. They are very disappointed in the group stage in the Euro 2022, where they finished last and gathering just 1 point. But not only that, they suffered a heavy, heavy defeat against France 5-1. So they are hurt. They are hurt. So Coach Milena Bertolini, who normally plays a 4-4-2 or 4-4-3, the last three games I saw, they inserted a 4-3-3 and also a 4-4-2. So we're not really sure what she's looking to do, but she wants a great support for her key player, Cristiana Girelli. She knows it's a difficult group. The last time they played in a 4-4-2, they won against Romania 2-0. Maybe they're gonna go with that, but it's gonna depend of the situation of the opponent and how they're gonna install the system. So like I said, key player you want to watch is Cristiano Aguilera. Like I said, they're hurt. What happened to him in the Euro? Like I said in the last in a couple minutes ago, a hurt team or hurt person is a dangerous person. So let's go Italy. Now let's get into Argentina. Argentina, fourth edition, that they will play. But however, they play fourth edition, but they don't have an identity yet. It seems like this team is gradually improving each World Cup. Everyone believes that this will be that World Cup they're gonna reach the knockout stage because they have not done so. Um, they did a little bit better in 2019 than the rest of the World Cup they participated into. Las Guerreras was led by uh, Portanova. He has a clear idea of what he wants to do, and he's ready to face a tough group. Key player is Stefania Banini, Atletico Madrid player. She gave an exclusive interview to CONMEBOL, where she talked about the team in Argentina, what they're looking to do in the World Cup. If you want to watch this exclusive interview, it's on YouTube on the CONMEBOL YouTube page. It's very interesting to go watch. If you speak Spanish, you're gonna be very um, understanding. If you don't, have someone translate for you like I did. All right. So be on the lookout for Argentina. They're not just coming in here to participate. This is their time to reach a knockout stage. They're preparing for that. And key player, like I said, you want to watch if you're watching Argentina. Her name is Estefania Banini. And if you want to watch her beyond that, she plays for Atletico Madrid in La Liga. And we're arriving into the last group, Group H. We're going to start with Germany, a favorite. The Germans. When I say the Germans, I'm talking about a team that had standard always. They made every edition. They won it in 2003 and 2007. They made history because it's the only team that won with men and women. Men and women. So the German team with such a huge standard, they were running up in the Euro 2022. They lost against England. They finished first in their group for qualifying in the World Cup with 27 points. Voss Tecklenburg mentioned in the German Football Association that he's pleased to face three different style of teams, and he's referring to Morocco, Colombia, and South Korea. So I do see what he's saying. So he's gonna have different approach, and like Germany, like I said, is a team that has standard. They're viewed as a favorite for this group. So you want to watch a key player for that team is Alexandra Pop. So be on the lookout for Germany. They're a favorite. They're hungry. They want it all. Morocco. Let me hear from Morocco. First time participating in the World Cup. Let me hear the clap. So they're reaching their first World Cup, and also known as the first Arab team to qualify for the Women World Cup. So they reached the quarterfinal of the African Women Cup, victory against Botswana. Their French coach, Reynald Pedros, he said to FIFA that the Atlas Lionesses, sorry, will represent their country with pride. They have a balanced defensive and efficient attack. So I want to say that it's not really too far from the men's team where they have a very solid defensive team and their attack where you I don't know if you remember the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, how efficient every kind of attack the Moroccan team had. They're like every time they go up, you felt like they were gonna score. They were so efficient. So it is also the same for Ronaldo. So be on the lookout for the attack. And a key player that you want to watch for Morocco is Gislan Shibak. So Morocco, clap again for first participation. Casablanca. Second team in Group H, Colombia. Third participation, who reached the round of 16 in last World Cup against USA. They lost. They're looking to do better in this World Cup. They suffered a tough loss in the finals against Brazil at home in the Copa America, but they're looking to gather from this and bring it to the World Cup. They want to bring that anger to the World Cup. Las chicas superpoderosas, Powerpuff Girls, are confident they can compete against any team in the World Cup. So Coach Abadia will be playing against he will be playing with his traditional 4-2-3-1, which he saw many results with it. A key player you want to watch is Linda Caicedo. She plays for Real Madrid, and like I said, if you want to see her beyond the World Cup, tune into Real Madrid. This is where you can see Linda Caicedo. Last team of this group, South Korea, and I want to name them as the redemption. Why? South Korea is looking to do better from the last World Cup, losing all group stages matches, and they will have a more secured approach with 3 at the back and advance the ball in a smart manner. Coach Bell demands high intensity on the ball. Key player to watch is Jin Soyun. That intensity she wants, it's with the security what they have in the back 3 and then advance with security. So he demands a lot of high intensity. So it's gonna be a different approach. Redemption. They want to do better. Be on the lookout for South Korea. All right. So we saw all the teams for the World Cup 2023 Women's World Cup, July 20th. Co-host Australia and New Zealand, starting July 20th. Like I said, I want to say something about top players. According to ESPN, this is the top 10 players that we're going to be looking at in the World Cup. At number 10, we have Alex Morgan. She's not new to the scene. You know her. She won many World Cups before. A talented woman who's been doing it all. She's considered as number 10. Number 9, Alexandra Pope. She's German. Be on the lookout. Number 8, Kara Walsh. I did tell you, English player. They won it in 2022. She's considered as a top 8 according to ESPN. So you want to watch England, you want to watch a talented lad, this is your girl. Number 7, Lena Oberdorf. She's German, and she's going to come to a team, like I said, the Germans, with so much standard, and they're ready to make the difference. You want to watch a quality player, and she's considered as number 7. Number 6, Ada Gerberg. She's Norwegian, so she's considered as number 6. Number 5, another Norwegian player, Caroline Graham Henson. Talented. Like I said, there's going to be 2 you want to watch in that team. They're going to be there at the World Cup, and she's considered as number 5 according to ESPN. Number 4, Alexia Putellas. She is Spanish. She's a Ballon d'Or winner. She plays for Barcelona. She comes from injury. She wants to prove that Spain has it to win the World Cup. So she's considered as number 4. Number 3, Sophia Smith. A lot of Americans are waiting for her at the World Cup. She's gonna be at the front striker. At the front 3, alongside with Alex Morgan. Be on the lookout for her, and you're gonna see why she's number 3. Number 2, Aitana Bonmati. She's also Spanish. She's gonna play alongside with her teammate Alexia Putellas. So She's number 2 in that list. And number 1, Sam Kerr. Like I said, you know her. She plays for Chelsea. And if you play FIFA, you've seen her. She's very talented. She was number 3 in the Ballon d'Or list in the last edition. She's considered as the top player that's coming to the World Cup, according to ESPN. So, like I said, don't forget the World Cup starts on July 20th at 3 a.m. But before that, on Thursday, July 20th, there's going to be the opening ceremony, New Zealand versus Norway before that game, held by female artists Myrats and Bene, where they're going to sing the official song, Do It Again. So, like I said, 9th edition of the World Cup, and it's going to start on Thursday. This is episode 63. We're going to have much more episodes about the World Cup throughout the competition, like good games, good players, great goals, and we're going to have some good times. So be on the lookout for the next episode that's going to come out when the World Cup starts, where we're going to probably talk about the opening games and the ceremony and many more. So like I said, be on the lookout, subscribe. I don't know, put the bell on it when you want to see the new show. This is episode 63, available on Apple and Spotify. Special edition Women's World Cup 2023. Thank you very much. This was Richy. Peace.